Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We are here with another Alliance War video, and this is going to be War number 4, Season 56, and AOH has matched up against, I believe they're a Chinese alliance called the Universal Stars, and yeah, their actual tag is not something I can pronounce, so I'm not going to attempt to, but I have heard of them. I have faced them a good number of times. I know they're usually in Masters or Platinum 1, so yeah, they are a legit alliance. But today we have the team of Hood, White Magneto, and Kate Bishop on my main, which is a pretty strange team given that this season so far I've been using champions like rank 3 Angela and rank 2 and rank 4 Shocker. This fight's gonna be really ugly. I think I was so unserious about this fight that I just didn't really care. So I didn't really try that hard. So I think I'm gonna eat another special to the face. Not there. I think I am though, if I recall correctly. Here I need to detonate, but I get hit by a heavy. So I need to detonate again, but here he's going to throw an L1, and because... Oh no, I think we're going to detonate right here. I think it went like uglier in my head than it actually went in the fight. Because I just went into that fight thinking, oh, this is going to be so easy. Like, it's literally a joke placement because Vox gets punished when you nullify his buffs. He takes big bursts of damage. We have this Nick Fury here on the Masochism node, and we're going to be using my White Magneto. I told my officer I didn't need to use a Wags pre-fight here. I could just take this stun immune, and he said, nah, we don't really need them. So after I win this fight, I'm going to have 2 pre-fights left, and I was only assigned to use it on 2 pre-fights. Or technically, I'm going to have 3 pre-fights left, but then I'm using 1 for my own Section 2 fight. So really straightforward fight here. Masochism is the only node that's going on. If you throw White Magneto's SP1, you inflict an armor break, and if you throw his SP2, you inflict a degen. But if you throw his SP3, you don't inflict a debuff. So we're going to be going for SP3 in this fight. We're going to push Nick Fury to SP2, take a little bit extra block damage because, I mean, it really doesn't matter. This is obviously going to be Wags' only fight. We just needed a champion for this fight, and it happened that if I brought Wags, I was also able to, well, bring Wags for pre-fights. So, yeah, really easy. Here, if I had finished that combo in the medium head crit, we probably would have pushed him into second life, but I wanted to wait so that I could, like, better line up pushing him to SP2 for the first time, and then I believe after this special 2, we are going to throw our special 3 so that it pushes him to a special 2, so, like, 1 more combo right here. And, yeah, it's actually pretty noticeable in a fight like this how much the tactic unblockable extra damage does, because it's actually a nice amount of burst damage. So yeah, there we get a cruelty, which is what he gets from his L3, but just 1 combo away and the fight does go down. Very, very safe matchup. The only possible way to die there is if you take an L2 to the face in second life while he has the Fury, you get stunned, and even with bleed immunity, a combo is doing serious damage to you. But honestly, I think it would take multiple mistakes for that fight to go wrong. So here we have another Hood fight, and it's pretty uncommon to be able to take 2 fights with Hood without the... Well, no, that's not true. You can do 2 fights without a synergy, but on my main, on my main account, I usually don't do that, so it's uncommon for me to do that. But anyways, we have this Hyperion on encroaching stun, and really we had to fit my paths in section 1 around my section 2, because it's not this fight, but my next fight is, I think, without a doubt, the hardest fight on the map this war. It's going to be a really tough placement that we've never seen before, but actually makes a lot of sense, and it's going to be an absolutely brutal fight. So here we're going to be timing our L2 for the encroaching stun. I was not able to line it up with my invisibility, but in a matchup like this, it doesn't matter that much. So here we're just trying to bait his L2. He does throw it. And yeah, we're just trying to control his power, make sure we are the one that has a special 2 when encroaching stun comes around, and that heavy attack. I knew it wouldn't kill him. I was just trying to deal a good amount of damage. There, I did have time to activate my invisibility before my L2. I just didn't, because at that point it honestly didn't matter. And then yeah, that heavy attack cleans it up. So 2 pretty simple hood fights this war. But let's get into the fight that is going to be absolutely horrible. This is going to be rank 4 Photon on Safeguard and Combat Deja Vu Degeneration. We thought about this fight, and I think we were thinking about Sable, potentially using Sable here, but we ended up going with Kate Bishop, and I'm obviously very good with Kate Bishop, so I was the one who needs to take it. But yeah, Kate Bishop is a 6-star, so we're going to throw on our skill boosts, and this is probably the scariest fight I've taken since Quicksilver bosses with Chi Elf. And I used to take those in the evade auto block meta. This is probably, since the last time I took that fight, this is the scariest fight I've taken. So we are going to be doing our medium light combos so that we do not inflict the degenerations, and then we are basically exclusively going to be relying on our cold snap to do the damage here. We're going to hold block, bait heavies, because obviously you can't parry here. We do get caught in a dash back here, which is just wonderful. And here I forgot that my L1 is going to trigger a debuff on myself before the knockdown triggers. So we do have to just hold block and delay the fight until Pure Light is over so we can dex the L1. But of course, Photon's not going to throw the L1. We're going to get trapped in the corner. She's not going to throw the L2. We do manage to push her back with a Rye Post, I think is how you pronounce it. And then here we're just going to block the special. We did take a bit of degen damage, but at this point I just need to kill her. She's at 33%, which means this L1 is going to finish the fight off. I need to bait her L1. There she throws it, and I'm like, oh my god, am I actually going to survive this? There's no chance. And then here she's at 13 charges. I parry by accident. Like, that was 100% an accident. I was literally just trying to dash back, and now that she's at 15 charges, if she throws her L1, even if I parry the hits, it's going to do so much damage that it would kill me, and we actually do manage to survive. So obviously I did go forward and place my 2 Wags pre-fights. I put a Wags pre-fight on Node 38 Sasquatch, and then also a Wags pre-fight on the final boss, which was a rank 4 Onslaught. And I did my fights on my main first, and then about 20 minutes later I did my fights on my alt. And unfortunately, my screen recording failed. So I had 8 fights on my alt, 6 of which were with Hood. And in this war, we really pushed the limits of fights that Hood should be taking. I took Maestro on a regen node, like a passive regen node, so Hood couldn't control the regen, and I just literally out-damaged it and nuked him. I took Path 9, Section 1, like the first node, Cersei with Hood, which is, of all the hazard shift fights, the worst one for Hood to take because of the attack increase that the defender gets, which also applies to DOT. It wasn't a hard fight. I still ended with like 75% health, but yeah, it's a fight that normally you don't send Hood to, but he can do it. We sent Hood to a rank 4 Thanos on node 39, which is the Rich Get Richer Footloose one that also has the stun immunity when the defender throws special attacks. And Hood actually does counter Thanos very, very well if you know what you're doing. You have to kind of employ a very unique Hood strategy that I would definitely not encourage beginners to use, but I was very familiar with it because obviously Hood is my favorite champ in the game, and I know how to play him very, very well in just about every single matchup he can do. And then I also took this rank 3 Sig 200 Killmonger on node 45 Hazard Shift, the Bleeding Cold Snap node. And this is probably the highest amount of health that I've ended with. And we just got really good Hazard Shift RNG. I think before I got to my first L2 of the fight, because obviously I went in with an SP1 boost, before I got to the first L2 of the fight, I think I only got one Hazard Shift debuff on me in like 9 hits. And then after the SP2, you get Hazard Shift so rarely that it doesn't even matter that much. So yeah, that was really good. And then we took rank 3 Adam Warlock on node 47, which since the update is a lot harder for Hood to take because he is not able to control any of the buffs and he is not able to deal with the unstoppable with the exception of Fate Seal that makes it fail sometimes. So yeah, these are the fights I took right here. I was on Path 9 Section 1. I did Hood versus Cersei and then Ultron versus Havoc on the second node. Because it was a rank 3 high Sig Havoc, well, Sig doesn't matter for what I'm about to say, but it was a pretty beefy Havoc, and the fight took around 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and we ended around 80%. We then went over to Path 2, Section 2, and took Maestro on the regen node, the first one with Hood. Pretty straightforward fight, took about 30 seconds, maybe a little bit less than 30 seconds. And then we went in against Weapon X on the Stun Immune Shock EMP node. And that's also the node with the power gain when your buffs fall off. When your buffs expire. That was also a pretty long fight because it was, again, a rank 3 with while using a 6-star attacker. That fight took about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And overall, he went through 3... what's his phase called? When he's unblockable, regens all of the damage from hits back. It's not Frenzy. It's something like that. Sorry, I'm blanking on what it's called right now. But we went through 3 cycles of that. And then I was just smart about when I would throw my L2. I would combo into an L2 when I had a striker available, and then I would striker intercept so that I got full damage off the degenerations. And because there's no indestructible on that node, there was no way to resist it, unlike against Havoc. And yeah, like I said, we took node 39 Thanos with Hood. Pretty straightforward fight. You just have to really control the fight. And other than right at the start of the fight when he started with an Energize, he never got a single buff. So we prevented every single buff after our first L2 because we just kept up the Fate Seal by hitting him. We took node 41 Nova, which was the Power Focus 1 route, and then the one where he goes unblockable if you block 10 hits. We took node 45 Killmonger and then node 47 Adam Warlock. I don't want to have this video drag on too long because I know it's kind of lame when I'm just describing my fights, but when my recording fails like this, I don't know what to do. I feel like I still need to slightly explain what happened in the fights, but it just sucks. Like, I recognize that it sucks as a viewer and as a creator to have this happen. I honestly didn't think that my storage was bad enough that that I was at risk of losing a recording, especially a recording that wasn't even that long. I think maybe it would have totaled about 18 minutes, 18 to 20 minutes maximum. So it's kind of weird for a screen recording like that to fail. But I did go through my storage and I did clear out about 10 gigs of just extra stuff I had lying around. So hopefully this does not happen. And then I will be also getting a new phone in about a month and a half. So once I get the new phone, obviously that's not going to happen because I'm going to have way more storage. So we will be more careful. Hope this doesn't happen again. But yeah, like I said, we did win this war. Or I guess I didn't say that. We did win this war. It wasn't the prettiest score ever. I think we had about 17 or 18 deaths, and they just died like 30 something times. But yeah, we are now 2-2 on the season. I still have 0 deaths on both accounts. As you can see here, there's zeros next to all the fights. Wish I had those fights to share, but unfortunately I do not. My death total, yeah, 0 on both accounts. My PSR overall is going to be 52 out of 52, or 100%. 21 fights on my main and 31 on my alt. So it's crazy that 4 wars in, I've already taken 10 more fights on my alt than my main. But I guess Hood is a much more versatile attacker than Shocker, so it makes sense that I'm taking more on my alt when my main attacker can take more fights. So, yeah, there we go. Our Deathless streak is currently at 127 fights after this war, with a 55 streak on my main and a 77 active streak on my alt. So, that is going to be it for today. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.